Richard Duval Williams VIII, known as Pop to me and all his grandchildren, was a US Marine medic who served in the Pacific Theatre in the Second World War. One of the places he fought was on the island of Guadalcanal in the Solomon Islands. Growing up, he would tell me stories of his time during the war. I was endlessly in awe. I had so many questions, some he could answer, some he could not. These conversations helped shape me as a person and my interest in all things military. When I was young, I vowed that I was going to go to Guadalcanal to see where he fought and to retrace his steps. As it does, life gets in the way, but in 2015, I set off on a trip I'd always dreamed of making. I decided to document it so that I could share the experience. I started my journey at the US Marines Memorial outside of Wellington. This is where my pop left from to fight in the Pacific. He took a boat, which took weeks. I think I'll just take a plane. Well, I've been up since 4 a.m. Trip I wanted to do since I was 12 years old. Next stop after Brisbane, Honiara, Guadalcanal. We'll see you all over there. Here we are, approaching Guadalcanal, first time. Right out our window there, where the first Marines landed. I'll be down there somewhere. 23 years I've wanted to go here, and yeah, it's I can't wait, really cannot wait to get out and explore the island, to see the battles Pop fought at, to see the beaches, to do the diving, to eat the cuisine, and generally have a good time with my friends. That is pure jungle down there, man. Touchdown. Smoke the background, man.
There you go, dude, you feel it for the first time.
Of course, I couldn't do it alone. Therefore, I assembled a crack team to accompany me. My best friend Ben was on camera, Pam was there to organise everything and ensure I stayed alive, Mike was there to get dive footage and a tan, and of course Morgan for comic relief. But one thing they couldn't help me with was the heat. Look, even the camera steamed up, and we weren't even in the airport yet.
So how about we get Vaughan telling us what happened at the set 70 years ago?
First impressions of Solomon Heat?
I have to be honest, 2 words, hot. I've never experienced anything like that. We were setting up for a shot and we were walking down off the airplane and I completely lost my train of thought. I was just hit by it. It was honestly like stepping into another planet. I'm glad the air conditioning's on now, but the first thing I do when I get back to the hotel is getting all my clothes off and yeah, pretty much just putting a toga on.
There's the Solomon Islands Navy police over there. But what we're really here to look at is the Florida Islands out the back there, which is where my grandfather was based at one stage. It's also where the old ex-capital was. And then you swing over to the left and we have Savo behind that boat island, which was where they had major battle. Major. Our plan is to visit some sites left over from the war. It's going to be a big day, so we need to pick up some kai, island stars. My first island bananas. Oh. Thank you.
Where are they?
I don't know, I think someone must have carried them off. Nothing really prepared me for the emotion I encountered upon reaching the US War Memorial in Honiara. It hit me like a brick wall. So we're finally here at American War Memorial. I have to be honest, it's quite an overwhelming experience. It's been a long time that I wanted to come here, so to actually be here, I did not expect to feel this way, to be honest at all. Pot fought for 3 years on this island, right behind us there. Out there is Iron Bottom Sound, which is littered with wrecks, including over 30 battleships and cruisers, both American and Japanese. And the American memorial is based here, and opposite it on the other hill is the Japanese, or the bad guys. But you know, they're all victims, you know. It's a beautiful view here, beautiful place to be actually. Incredible place, incredible. After the War Memorial, we headed east towards Red Beach. This took us past Henderson Field, the site of the main conflict on the island, where reminders of the war are everywhere. So here we are on Red Beach on the 7th of August 1942. This is where the American forces landed, pretty much beginning the Guadalcanal campaign. They went from here back to Henderson Field, which they took off the Japanese, who then took it back off them, and then they took it back off them again. But this is pretty much the Pacific Normandy. Out here we have Savo Island and the Florida Islands. But to think that back in when they landed here, there's thousands and thousands of troops bringing up their Amtraks and tanks, there's battleships everywhere out here. It's quite an amazing place to be. So I'm really happy I'm here.
Go for it. And why weren't you doing that? I felt as though there wasn't any need to do it, to be honest.
Pretty much driven from one end of Guadalcanal to the other, and now we're driving in the jungle in a cab. It's brilliant. Looking for some Amtraks, hopefully. I don't see any tow trucks.
Okay, so what are we turning around?
Yeah, we're turning around. Back out of the jungle again. Next stop was a museum in the bush where at least a dozen US Army Amtraks had been abandoned and had long since been claimed by the jungle. An entrepreneurial Solomon Islander had simply decided to stick a sign out front and charge a fee.
Yeah.
After some heated negotiation, we agreed upon a price for admission. We were then told the history of the area.
Arrived here, 6,000 Japanese been stay here first before American force arrive here. But it's not American team still. American and the New Zealand, Australian, even Fiji. Okay. Thank you very much.
So here we are again at the Honiara Yacht Club, and just in the middle of a mild anxiety attack right now. Just found out the boat was taking us to an island out in the middle of the ocean. Down here is our bags, and then there's 5 of us, so, and we all have to fit in that boat over there. That one with the green lid on it. Let's go and have a look at it, eh? Let's go safe that shit is. No life jackets. Yeah, I'm not feeling that comfortable, to be honest. Oh, now it's got life jackets. It's fine. I feel a lot better now. But it's still very small. But It is an hour and a half in the open sea. If you look over there, you can see an island which is Savo Island. It's pretty much the same sort of distance, but it's opposite direction. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Hopefully I'll talk to you again.
So how do you rate the seaworthiness of this boat? I'm sure it'll be up to the task. Looks pretty interesting, but yeah, do the job.
Are we filming? How do I tell if it's filming?
He'll say action.
Action.
Well, we're off to Nugu now. I'm absolutely terrified.
This is amazing.
Terrifying. I want to be off this boat. We've still got another hour and a half to go.
We've got a storm brewing in the background. Okay, Morgan, what do you got to say?
We're now crossing from Guadalcanal over to the Florida Islands to visit some wreckages where Mike's going to do some deep dives and we're going to snorkel over the top of them.
No, wrong.
Is that wrong?
Yeah.
What are we doing then? I wasn't kept in the loop.
You're
clearly.
one and you stuffed
I
it up.
stuffed it up. Sorry guys.
So we're currently going across Iron Bottom Sound. There are over 30 battleships, cruisers, wrecks underneath us right now. Massive naval warfare happened right here.
You're looking a bit wet, Pam.
It's my first swim.
Go to the short straw over there. There was indeed a storm ahead, with waves breaking over the side of the boat. This boat ride was literally one of the most terrifying things I've ever experienced. The camera had to be put away, and unfortunately, there was no footage. We were utterly drenched by the time we reached the island.
That was a little bit rough. And a bit
Well, that was the most extreme thing I've ever done on this boat here, and huge swells, really rough, we're completely soaked.
like
And
a
that's the
bath.
boat that we came all the way, and like it was just like that. It was water like spraying. Amazing. While it might look idyllic, this island is seriously isolated, with no access to electricity or running water. This was a taste of traditional Solomon Islands life. Unfortunately for me, it meant trying to sleep and punching heat and humidity on a damp mattress. I did not sleep for 3 nights. There were also crabs everywhere, and as everyone knows, I hate crabs. Well, here we are, 7 a.m. Just getting up and getting ready to leave. It was essentially one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. Even if being here at night is like being in the middle of a Vietnam movie. It's certainly given me an idea of exactly what it's like to be in the tropics, and that's well, in the islands, and it's whilst on one hand very incredible, it's also incredibly tasking on the body. So I can't even imagine what the soldiers who fought here had to go through, whereas us little Westerners on a holiday, you know, moaning about stuff like that, but you know, it's all part of it, I guess. But it definitely gives me a huge, a very wide opening eye. It's too early to be talking about this, but yeah, wide eye opening experience. Went to a village yesterday and walked through it, and yeah, incredible. Yeah, it's a pretty magical place to be. Just yeah, very taxing on the body, which has been very interesting. So yeah, see you probably at the diving area next, before heading finally back to Honiara. Iron Bottom Sound might be famous for shipwrecks, but it also has awesome coral reefs which mean amazing diving and snorkeling. We had to try it.
So here we are on Beaky Island, which is a very tiny private island. We've just been brought here by our previous resort owners. This island, there is nobody else apart from us here. Mike's going to do some diving and stuff. But we just found out that there's nobody on the island because it's actually a crime scene. And when I mean crime scene, I mean a bunch of government politicians came over here to have a political rally, and a bunch of opposition supporters arrived with AK-47s and shot the place up. Therefore the government shut the island down. That was a year ago, and it's a shame as it's such a beautiful island and no one is allowed here, including tourists like us, but we managed to sneak on anyway. And here we are on Tulagi, which is pretty much opposite Guadalcanal across the ocean there, which is pretty much opposite where Red Beach is, where the first Marines landed on Guadalcanal. This here is Blue Beach, where the actual first landing in the campaign for Guadalcanal happened. So this is where the Marines landed, first Marines as well. On this end, they couldn't get their landing craft in because of the coral reef. You see out here there's quite a bit of, it's very shallow, so they had to walk in 100 metres to the shore. They were unopposed. The Japanese were caught by surprise. At the end of the day, the Battle of Tulagi, there were 151 Japanese killed and 45 American soldiers, and the battle lasted for 2 days. So yeah, it's a very small beach, but yeah, this is where it all started, right here. So here we are still on Tulagi, which is very, very hot, and we've come past the Christ Church here. But the thing that I wanted to show you is what they're using for their church bell, which is what appears to be a torpedo or a depth charge. So I love it. It's fantastic, and it's the best thing I've seen on the island.
Tulagi was also the site of a Japanese seaplane base. When the US Marines arrived, the landings were fiercely resisted by the Japanese troops, who, outnumbered and outgunned by Allied forces, fought and died to almost the last man. We sent Mike to dive on one of the seaplanes that were shot down during the war. Several of the World War II shipwrecks are close enough to shore to snorkel over. We found wreckage of this Japanese freighter just outside Honiara. Lucky Mike had taken his tetanus shots.
To see a Sherman tank in the middle of the jungle here, another taxi into the jungle. So here we have a Sherman tank riddled with bullet holes.
This trip has been an eye-opening and emotional ride. We have seen that the war has left its scars on the landscape of these islands, from these rusting hulks of metal in the jungle to the wrecks in the depths of Iron Bottom Sound. The scenery has been stunning, the coral reefs have been amazing, however it has been tough going, and leaves me with a massive appreciation for what Pop and the soldiers went through when they served here. And with my Pop in mind, I want to visit the US War Memorial one last time.
So here we are back at the American War Memorial in Guadalcanal, Honiara. It's the last place we'll be before we hop on the plane and leave. And brought a coffee because we were lucky enough to have our grandfather leave these islands, whereas a lot of people didn't. And here I stand above the Unknown Warrior Memorial, and I'd like to leave a poppy